New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Our question, what is the story that proves that you are just like your stereotype? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Josh. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Josh, you there?
Uh-oh.
What is going on with our phones today?
Hang on, he's on mute. Well, we'll go back to him. Hello, Bill. Welcome to the Men's Room. Hello, Bill.
Bill.
Hey there.
Hola. Thank God. Yeah, we got you, man.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, let me turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm a typical redneck. I wear flannel all the time. I have a big four-wheel drive pickup, lots of guns, and I've had to bail both my kids out of jail.
You've done what now?
I had to bail both of my kids out of jail.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
What were the, at the same time, or what were their individual crimes?
It was different times, but both were
You're breaking up on us, Bill. Say it again.
Well, because he lives out in the country.
That's right. I say I bailed them out for DWI. I was probably as drunk as they were at the time.
Okay. Have you ever been around someone with a potato cannon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, as soon as someone says, yeah, man, I got a potato cannon, I'm just envisioning nothing but white people.
Right.
Just a sea of white. And someone's going to get hurt. That's the way it always is.
Well, I mean, I think that's fair of anything. You play with anything until the injury happens.
Right.
Right? I can juggle knives. And it's like they will continue to do that until they cut their finger.
Yeah.
Right? You got a potato cannon, you're going to fire it until something goes wrong. We have BB gun wars until you shoot your buddy in the eye. Like, that's just one of those things. Well, if you have an instrument to hurt people, you will play with it up until you go, crap, man, we just shot Billy. Crap, right. Sorry.
Right. Like, okay, so when I grew up, the guy, he said he had a big truck. The guys who had big trucks weren't the biggest guys.
Right.
So they were, you know what I mean? They were on the smaller side as far as just like my buddy Worm's got one of the biggest trucks I've ever seen. To this day, he drives a lifted pickup truck, right? He's like 5'5" and weighs 125 pounds. Now, Worm will kick your ass. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. He'll smash a beer bottle over your head.
He goes by Worm. I mean, that tells you.
But all the guys that were in high school had really big trucks weren't the biggest guys. And now I kind of like notice some of that stuff with driving because we do have the 5 most accurate car and owner stereotypes.
Sure.
Anytime I see a Chrysler 300, I know that the man who's driving that car is a large man. Because it's
probably a brother.
Because it's one of the few cars that is still like the old American luxury sedan. Mm-hmm. So as far as the size of it goes, you know, I don't think they make like a Cadillac Fleetwood anymore or an LTD or, you know what I mean, any of that stuff, like a Mercury Marquis. So to get a really big car, Chrysler 300 is about all that's left.
It is, but also
Cadillac still makes some big ones. They don't make that ridiculous Fleetwood.
But Cadillac appeals to a lot of athletes and a lot of rappers, so you can guarantee that a lot of brothers follow suit, right? Yeah, if you're rolling an Escalade to the 300, if you start rapping about it, like black people jump on. I mean, that's how, look.
I mean, the first time I saw an Escalade was an Usher video,
right? And it became a thing. Gucci. There's not a brother born who gives a rat's ass about Gucci, but some rappers start wearing Gucci and like, brothers start wearing Gucci because now Gucci's the thing. Mm-hmm. Pink sweaters. Now that used to be the thing of like white men in Virginia, right? Have the pink sweater tied around their neck and hang out on their boat. They started doing it in rap, and next thing you know, I'm like, brother, are you serious, man? Yeah, dog.
Mm-hmm. What always seemed funny to me,
come on, man, it's a pink sweater.
Like, especially with polo, right?
Polo,
and I used to rock a lot of polos. I like polo.
Sure.
But, like, it seemed like the farther you advanced with money, and rapping, which generally came with a lot of money. It was like you had to go to the far back of the Polo catalog for just like stuff that like nobody else would wear.
That's right. Somehow, and let's face it, if you are famous, you can get away with anything. Outside of rock and probably country music, if you saw a dude just wearing leather pants, you're like, come on. Right? I mean, like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. Or a mesh tank top.
Yeah.
But if you're in a band, all of a sudden, like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, picture, like, what was it, Motley Crue on the back with Theater of Pain. Vince Neil's wearing pink pants and like a white garter belt and a white lacy top. Now, if I walk down the street like that, I'm going to hear a lot of comments. You're in a band? Oh, that's cool. Think about Rob Halford, right? He took his band and they established generally what we regard to be the metal look. He went to the gay S&M bondage places to buy it because no one was wearing it.
And I
so it's all spikes and leather and all that. It's like, I don't know if you guys know what you're wearing, but you know.
And I dress like Dad. You know what I mean? Like, I admit it. Like cargo shorts, all the things that people make fun of.
Hey, do not make fun of cargo shorts.
My kids make fun of me for wearing cargo shorts. Basically, it's all I own.
Yeah.
I don't even really have straight shorts. So I get made fun of.
I don't like the way they look. And then there's the thing now where we're going back to like the 70s where the shorts keep getting shorter. I'm like, nobody needs to see that on me, man.
No, me neither.
Well, the shorts are getting shorter on dudes, but I've noticed recently in my neighborhood that skinny jeans are leaving.
Are they?
Yeah. Girls are wearing like baggy jeans now, like straight leg baggy.
Huh. I will say, and look, I don't care much about women's fashion for all the obvious reasons, but the mom jean thing that came back for a little while,
kind of the 80s look, late 70s, 80s. They're just more up on the hip.
Yeah, I mean, like the belt's directly below your boot. You look like, I don't know, man. You look like a broke farmer. You know what I mean? And,
the high-waisted jean?
Yeah, I think it was like Jessica Simpson
or
somebody.
Like the farmer dating site.
But the thing is, like, they don't look good. And I don't care who you are. It could be men, women, whatever. Like, that's a bad look. Like, most dudes do not want their pants up super high. You know, I don't know how that became a thing.
But I like the high-waisted jean on women.
Really?
I do.
Man, what is wrong? You just like women so much it doesn't matter. They can be wearing a goddamn clown outfit. You'd be like, it's fine.
I think it helps their butts.
If you got one. I mean, you have to have a butt for your butt to be healthy.
But if you don't have one, I think it gives the appearance of one.
You think so?
I mean, I do.
So, okay. Speaking of what people wear and how they present themselves. So last time I was at the airport, this is way back, but I'd gone golfing. All right. So that's as wide as can be. So I've got my big, hard golf case. Now, that doesn't go through the regular baggage check place. Yeah. There's a special for, like, oversized stuff, right?
All right.
So there's this woman, and she is standing over there, and she is done up. You know what I mean? She looks good. She is really to the nines.
She's from Texas?
Very attractive looking, right? And so I'm sitting there, and you brought up Gucci. That's why I remember this. And I mean, this Gucci bag falls out down on the chute, you know, where the big bags are. This thing had to be 70 pounds. This bag was so big, I can't even believe that you're allowed to fly with the damn thing, right? I turn around, and I get my stuff. She's got 3 more of those little size bags.
Weekend trip.
Same exact bag, like it was a set, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I knew that was her bag. I knew that was her bag. Nobody else would pack that much crap.
Have you ever tried this one? I've done it once. I happened to get it right. But I was very confident in this, waiting at baggage claim. And everyone's bag roughly looks the same, right? And a few people tie ribbons and all this crap. And so we're waiting for our bags. And this big-ass pink suitcase with leopard prints on it came out. And there's a very high-maintenance woman waiting kind of near me. I said, hey, there's your bag. And she's like, oh, thank you. Never occurred to her, like, I could look at this crowd, and I knew instantly, like, this bag belongs to this person. Right? There was zero doubt about it. She was like, oh, thank you. My wife just looked at me. I'm like, dude, you had to know.
We talk about it all the time. Just walking through the airport, don't look at the sign of where the plane's going. Just look at the people. You get a pretty good idea where people are traveling to, just based on how they
Especially
look.
if they're going back home. I feel like Atlanta, Georgia, we've had a woman on the elevator here, I don't know, like 2 years ago, whatever, and I want to say Swedish or whoever we share the building with, they were doing this big national training thing. So people from across the country.
Because the nurses were on strike. And
right.
They were bringing in nurses to work.
So they're pouring from across, I mean, just basically, if you can work in all 50 states are represented, there's one woman who's like, how do I get to wherever? She's on the elevator with us, and we're like, oh, you're from Atlanta. How'd y'all know? It's like, there's just a look, man.
First of all, you call me baby.
But, I mean, everything about her. Not Georgia, Atlanta. She's like, how'd you know? Like, you just know. Mm-hmm. If you've been around, you can start to tell, man.
What is the story that proves you're just like your stereotype? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Daryl. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitch, hola.
Hola.
Before I get into it, I want to say what's up to King Lanyard for giving me that keychain because it saved my life.
All right, well, good.
Well, very cool.
But before I get into my story, Thrill, you know, being from the ghetto, you say that Californians always talk about being from California.
No, it's kind of their opening statement. Hi, my name is Dave. I'm from California. Yeah, it just kind of works like that.
Yes, but it works. But let me tell you how I made it work for me. Living here in Washington for about 20 years, who moves here?
Who what?
Who moves here the most?
Oh, California.
Well, they move everywhere, yeah.
Exactly. So me doing my job, I'm in and out of people's houses left and right. So I get to interact with people from California. You know who gets the most tips? Me, being from California.
So it works.
So you use it to your advantage.
So if they say they're from California, you say, hey, me too, and then me too, and everything works in your favor.
Yes, it's the Me Too movement.
Okay.
Except I get it to work for guys.
So did you say you've been here for 20 years?
Damn near in Bremerton, Washington.
Okay, well, right before, so we're about 4 years behind you getting here, right? But when we moved here, there was really no South Lake Union. There was no Amazon downtown.
Right.
None of that stuff existed. And the biggest beef with Seattleites at that point in time was still Californians who were moving here and driving the cost of homes up, the home prices. So, you know, like even initially when we got here,
oh, yeah.
So I was like, all these Californians are coming.
Boy, you heard that a lot.
Yeah,
people
said
it
a ton. That was it.
Now they hate everybody.
Right, exactly.
I understand where you guys are coming from, but I moved here poor, and I worked my way up, and then I just bought my first house. So now all of these people moving up from California are making my house worth more. So I like the rich people moving up here now.
And it's not
much. Dude, trust me, we're transplants too.
Right.
We were the same when we got here. Everybody from Seattle was like, "Oh, these Californians,"
but they didn't care that we were from the East. So they're like, "Yeah, whatever.
You're just not from California.
California.
You're not driving the home prices up like these people."
And now that's happening. What? Phoenix,
Bend,
right? So
Austin.
They've all been hanging out. They've been doing good, right? Their house, you pay what it's actually worth, right? And so now, like California, a lot of people from North are flooding Phoenix. Because obviously the weather, but beyond that, the theory was that housing prices are cheaper. But the same thing is happening there that happened in Seattle. Like you said, Austin as well. Prices are going through the roof because everybody's moving there, man.
I tell you what, Phoenix, by the way, Arizona is a great social experiment on that too, compared to other places. Like if you go to Dallas, it's Dallas.
Sure.
No matter where you are, it's Dallas. You understand that. When you go to Phoenix, or where my uncle lived, he lived in Glendale, which is where I think they put one of the stadiums for a little while. It's kind of out.
The stadium's there.
It still is, okay. Well,
the hell with that stadium.
Anyway, it's 45 minutes here, 30 minutes there. You know, anywhere in Phoenix, it's going to take a little time to get to Tempe or wherever you're going. But when you go to Scottsdale, it is not like the Mexican restaurant that you went in a strip mall to have dinner last night, or the bar next door where you went in to drink after you had dinner there. When you go to Scottsdale, it is like you stepped in to a different world of like Beverly Hills. I can't explain.
That's what I've heard, man.
It's unbelievable.
It's such a night and
It's
day.
like everybody's blonde, fake boobs. I mean, it's a good looking town.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you want to go there.
It's just
I've been there. It was awesome.
In my mind, there's no other town that has such just a difference when you cross over that line like that.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as just how people look, it's
to me,
completely
Phoenix,
different.
Like Phoenix is Phoenix.
Right.
Scottsdale he's right. It's completely different. I mean, it's its own little bubble of just weirdness.
It is.
But then the other good thing about Phoenix is you get on a bike and you're 5 miles away. You're in Tempe, which is ASU, and just a lot of talent.
I've heard that ASU is if you're just a red-blooded man looking for some hot chicks, apparently ASU is like the place to be.
And they have like souped up golf carts that you can get like a taxi that take you home from the bars in Scottsdale.
Okay.
There's also, Miles had a buddy, we won't say his name, he had a full ride to Notre Dame playing football. This is Notre Dame football, right? You can like the team or not, but let's face it, always competitive, very good team. He transferred after 1 year because Notre Dame apparently is the exact opposite of ASU.
Correct.
But dude left for that reason. Like, dude, it's an ugly farm.
I mean, didn't like Gronk go to ASU?
Did he?
I think he went to...
He seems like a guy that would go there.
Or did he go to Arizona?
Either way, look at the pool. This is the pool on campus. There's like 5 of these pools on campus.
Yeah.
Just big-ass pools. Like, where you just go and you don't go to class.
Because it's Arizona.
Exactly. What's the story that proves that you're just like your stereotype? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Josh. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, I'm not so much of the stereotype anymore, but I definitely was a 20-something-year-old male with a driver's license, and I had a drawer full of speeding tickets to prove it.
What kind of car are you driving?
Back then, let's see, it was a couple of different ones. I had a 91 Cavalier. I think you said that was one of your first cars, or close to
something
it.
close to that. I can't believe that thing even could get you a speeding ticket.
Yeah, 82 pickup truck, 82 F-150, and then I also had I called it the Tealmobile. It was an Oldsmobile, and that thing actually, it was a Buick Century, and that thing actually got pretty fast.
Okay. So how many tickets did you get all together?
I kind of did some quick math, and probably between 18 and 30 or so.
Jesus, man.
No. Between the ages of 18.
Oh, okay. All right.
I probably had like 8 or something.
Have you slowed down your driving ways?
I have. I think the last one I got was when I was 30. And it was actually so bad. There was one point, I think I was about 24 or so, that I remember a cop telling me, he spent a little extra time back in his, squad car or whatever, and he comes up and he kind of does the big sigh, like, hey, listen here, kid. Says, I just pulled up your driving abstract, and he's saying this as he's handing me the ticket. He says, this is now your 4th speeding ticket within 1 mile of your house. you might want to kind of slow it down a little bit.
Do you have kids, Josh?
I don't yet, no.
Okay, that's one of the first things I think takes the lead foot away for a while. So when my kids were in my car or whatever, I would drive like a semi-normal human being. But now that they've grown up and moved out of the house, I'm back to my old idiot ways.
But see, it's weird, man, because when we were growing up, seatbelts were optional. I mean, they were in the car, but you were under no obligation to wear it. And my father drove 400 freaking miles an hour everywhere, and nothing has changed.
No.
He did not care, man. I mean, the only thing he had to do to change his driving was the fact that he had to buy a bigger car, which he never let us forget.
We'd pile in the back of a pickup truck to go to a baseball game in our baseball high school uniforms.
But only if you're good. Can we ride in the open bed of the pickup? And your parents are like, well, look, if you mow the lawn or do that, like you had to do something to...
You were back there with a dog.
And it was awesome. We used to love that, man. If you did that now, you are under freaking arrest.
Well, the Subaru Brat used to have 2 seats in the back.
Yeah.
2 handlebars that you held on to.
I mean, no
seatbelt.
No.
Just 2 places to hold your arm in case you hit a speed bump and you got.
But to be fair, if you rode in the bed of something, there was never seatbelt. So I think with the Brat, they were like, well, we gave you a seat.
When's the last time you rode in the bed of a truck?
I mean, on the street?
Not Aaron Rodgers lately.
Childhood.
All right.
I mean, I've done it with buddies when we're out doing stuff we shouldn't do, but not on the street, just going somewhere. And I can't imagine just putting my kids back there.
How about you?
It's been within the last four years.
Were you on a farm?
No. We're just cruising through the city, but it was like my buddy had a truck.
Wait, what city?
Seattle. There was 3 of us. Yeah, so I just laid down.
Oh, so no one could see you. You weren't sitting up.
No, I'm not. I don't want to get in trouble.
Just laying down flat in the back of a truck bed.
Yeah.
How many times have you ridden in a trunk?
3 times.
And
I
what
was gonna say
age range were you?
Around 5, but that's probably around 5 times, but not after turning like 25.
I was going to say early 20s. It's just one of those like your buddy has a car, you have 8 buddies, but he's the only one. Like, all right, we can fit all of us if whoever's the smallest or shortest, like you get in the trunk, and it wasn't a big deal.
No. Sometimes it was the biggest.
Oh, did they put you back there solo?
Yeah.
Oh,
damn. For us, it was just
for us, a lot of times it was just getting from the house to the metro station.
Sure. Okay.
So everybody would just pile in, but I mean, come on, Bernie, get in the trunk, Teddy.
Yeah. Did you get weird looks when they pop the trunk and you climb out?
No, because I think it just wasn't that.
I think in that age group, and I'm sure it still happens now. I mean, but like you pull up to the bar, and it was just kind of understood that the trunk popped open and like 2 of your buddies got on. You're like, well, yeah, that makes sense because how else were they going to get here? Of course, you rode in the trunk.
Yeah, you're right. If you showed up to like a nice restaurant or something, and your buddies hopped out of the trunk, I'd be like, that's odd. But you're right, like a bar, or like a train station. I'd be like,
We carefully
don't do that. Don't do that.
Right.
I mean, we carefully jumped out of the trunk at the drive-in movies all the time.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, that was how we got in.
I want to do a social experiment now and just Like, drive up to a restaurant, then put my kids in the trunk. And then when we pull into the parking lot, right, just make it a point, big show of it. Get out of the car, walk around, pop the trunk, and 2 little kids get out.
No, but do it with a valet there.
Oh, hey, wait, don't drive off.
Yeah.
It's also the time. I mean,
got my kids in the trunk, man.
Not to make ourselves sound old, but like there wasn't cameras everywhere.
Those are the good old days.
Right, can you imagine now, like, you pop out of the trunk, so you're like, well, you guys in the trunk, or there might be a camera on you just at the metro station?
Everywhere.
What if you just have duct tape across your face? You run around and go, and you just take it front.
Right. See what people do.
That would make you a TikToker.
What is the story that proves you're just like your stereotype? 206-421-ROCK.
The men's room is in progress. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Article on the 5 most accurate car and owner stereotypes.
All right.
They go over the BMW.
I think we all have a general idea. Are we jealous or do we believe that?
I believe it, because I almost got hit again the other day walking to work, and it's always a BMW or just some old dude not paying attention.
Okay. And do they mean mug you?
The old people don't really pay attention. They just pull out of stuff. The BMW people, the guy did. I literally was on the phone and I was talking to my mom walking into work, and I just went, what the F is your problem, dude? She's like, what's going on? I was like, this guy just almost hit me, and he's like mean mugging me.
Jesus.
And I had a buddy that had one, and he drove it like a maniac.
Subaru gets defined in 2 categories. You've got the WRX STI group. You know those guys.
All right.
They're the ones who want to go fast. And,
sure. That is a car for.
They're a little street dragon. Then you have the go-to brand for lesbian women. As Subaru is 4 times more likely, if you're lesbian, to own a Subaru than the average consumer. Mm-hmm. So Subaru realized this in the early 90s, and they began advertisements that targeted gay couples in their advertising, and they used a lot of incognito references, kind of lost on straight audiences at the time.
We wouldn't even know.
Jokes they didn't get, stuff that went over their heads to those who might typically be offended. But the clever marketing solidified Subaru as a typical car for a professional, active lesbian couple. So there is that for sure. And then the one that I really enjoy the most is the Chevy Corvette.
All right.
Ooh. All right. I'm going to say white dude over 40.
Yeah. It's easy to be envious of the driver in the Chevy Corvette that pulls up at the stoplight, but take a moment to scan them and see past the facade cast by Plastic Fantastic. Chances are the driver has gray hair, sunglasses, and an in-and-out shirt depicting a 1970s car meet outside of a burger joint. In all likelihood, this guy is a lifelong gearhead and a loyal employee at whatever company that he retired from, but he couldn't quite always make enough cash to buy that Ferrari. Well, who needs one anyways, when you can get one of the best bangs for your bucks in the sports car market? With a sticker price of less than $100,000, this is the ideal car for that man who's basically getting ready to cross the finish line.
My uncle, all right, now he was in his mid-20s probably when he owned this, but he was always the cool uncle anyway, right? He was always just the cool guy. It is my mother's brother, and she said he's always been, now she has a different perspective, not that he's always been cool, but as she says, he has always attempted to be cool. But when I'm like 8 years old, he had 2 vehicles. And keep in mind, he was single. He owned these 2 vehicles, and I just wanted to be him. One was a red 1976 Corvette Stingray, which to this day I believe might be the coolest car ever. I always remember that. He took me on a ride in it once. I was disappointed because it had bucket seats and I'm a little kid, so wasn't that great of a ride. The other car he owned, oh, that's right, Smokey and the Bandit. Man, he had the Pontiac Trans Am Firebird with the Firebird on the hood, and that to me, the Firebird on the hood said, I am the man. And maybe 3 years passed. He sold both of them, got something a little more sensible, and I was crushed. I could not. I used to love when he would visit, because I'd see that red Corvette show up, man, and I would just stare at that thing.
Does this seem like an Oregon or Portland, Oregon stereotype, this next story? Just listen to this. Guy near Portland, Oregon, named Jeffrey Cannon. He's driving on Saturday doing 90 miles an hour when he sped past a cop. Mm-hmm. All right. On the back of the Volkswagen Jetta, he was driving, and it turned out he had been drinking. There was a large bumper sticker that said, quote, not drunk, avoiding potholes. The cop ended up getting a pretty good look at the bumper sticker because after he pulled Jeff over, he let his Jetta slowly drift backward for 25 feet. The car did not stop until it hit the cop car in the front. He didn't even realize he was drifting back. When they asked him why he backed up, he didn't even know what happened. And around them, the cop then spotted an open can of Busch Light in his cup holder. He said he was going to go meet up with some friends and have a weekend party.
I believe that.
He also had a gun on his car with no serial number. They found more beer cans and a bag of cocaine in the center console, and he was driving on a suspended license. A breathalyzer showed he was almost 3 times the legal limit. He's facing multiple charges. To me, that basically says it all. can of Busch Light in the console, a little bit of cocaine, getting ready to go to a party, having no idea where in the hell you are. That's a lot like most of my trips to Portland.
To me, the giveaway is a bumper sticker that says "Not drunk, avoiding potholes." And listen, I feel like if you wear T-shirts that say that or the bumper sticker, I'm like, you're probably drunk right now. You know, if it's like, I'm not drunk, there's a good chance you're drunk.
Look, there's nothing wrong with putting dancing bears on the back of your car.
That depends on the car.
If you're driving in California. There's a difference in putting them on the back of your car when you're driving in Mississippi, Alabama, or Texas.
Or Georgia.
You're just going to get pulled over. It just depends on where you're at.
But also, if it's on the back of a Volkswagen bus, so you have the dancing bears. I know you like the Grateful Dead. That's one thing. It's on the back of your Subaru. You like the Grateful Dead. It's on the back of your Volkswagen bus. You actively have drugs in your vehicle with you, and you're probably high right now. I might be wrong, but that's always my belief.
Look, I know a lot of people out there who are elderly, but based on their type of music and their taste in music that they listen to, you can tell a lot about somebody. Like, I know for a fact that the most older, and your mom would probably be a little bit, I don't know, maybe she would try marijuana at one point in time, but most of the older population,
she doesn't smoke,
who likes Willie Nelson, they're accepted.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated road solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed.
You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com. Of the weed world, and probably
they have to be
100%.
Yeah, so like
it's Willie Nelson. I mean,
if you go to a Willie Nelson show, you know for a fact there's going to be more marijuana there than almost a Grateful Dead show.
But that's the funny thing about Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. There's a commonality among these two fan bases, right?
But if you go to a Jimmy Buffett concert, they're bringing blenders and plugging them into with like an AC adapter into their car, and they're making margaritas in the back of the hatchback.
A lot of cocaine at Jimmy Buffett concerts,
right?
And the car thing, I would also say, like most stereotypes, like I can make fun of the Corvette people, but I like Corvettes.
Sure,
I
get whatever you want.
That's why I make fun of you.
The reason you're looking at it is because you want to see who's driving it, because it's such a nice car.
So my mom is 76. She loves Willie, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what she drives? The complete opposite of a stereotype. There's a stereotype to this car. It is not a 76-year-old white woman.
I don't know.
Nissan Maxima.
Oh, really?
But she's in PG County.
She loves it.
Well, everybody on the East
live in
Coast,
Prince George's County. The Nissan Maxima, it's everywhere.
I was laughing days. The Nissan Maxima went by me just blaring rap music, and I was like, "Wonder if that's mom."
I did not know originally that the Maxima was definitely considered like a black car, right? But when they first introduced the Nissan Maxima, the first person that I knew that bought one, my dad.
First of all, they're nice. First of all,
looking back, I'm like,
cars.
oh, yeah, I guess.
I swear to God, on the East Coast, Nissan, more black people drive Nissans and white people drive Toyota Camrys. So the same person who would buy, a Maxima, if you're black, if you're white, you buy a Camry. And I mean, that's just the way it goes.
You would think you could open one car lot on the East Coast that says we got Maximas and we got Camrys, and everybody.
White person's in the Corolla who can't afford the Camry. Black person's in the Altima who wanted the Maxima but couldn't afford it.
You were not kidding.
That's just the way it rolls. I mean, when I got my Nissan, a Michael Jordan Nissan, I was the only white guy there buying a car.
They probably thought you were a cop.
Right, exactly.
Oh, 5-0. Like, no, dude, honestly,
You only want a Sentra? That's all I can afford. What's the story that proves you're just
you
like
looking
your
for the Honda
stereotype?
dealership?
Yeah, right? 206-421-ROCK.
Are you lost, sir?
We don't have trucks at this lot.
Yeah, this says Nissan.
Then I bought that Xterra.
Worst rated car ever. Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So
So it's funny that your guys' question of the day is this, because I was just talking to someone about it earlier. I came to the realization I've been with nothing but big white women, and I'm a Mexican American.
Is that a stereotype?
I mean, that's what I've always heard.
Well, everyone's nodding yes to me, so I'm going to go ahead and say...
I will add that I do like white girls named Debbie, too.
Is it circumstantial? Is this happenstance, or are you just physically attracted?
I mean, I love her. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my type.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody has a type. Everybody has a type. Doesn't mean that's what you end up with.
Yeah.
I mean, as a dude, that's why you're asking the very question: is this just opportunity, or is this what you look at? Like, I can say I went hunting, come home with 8 rabbits. You go, it's impressive. You go, well, I was deer hunting. Right. I wanted a deer. The only thing there were rabbits. But
there's also a lot of big girls out there that like really, really tiny guys and vice versa.
Oh, sure.
You know, I had a buddy in high school that was, I mean, maybe 140 pounds soaking wet, shorter than I was. But I don't think he dated a girl under 182 bills.
That's just what he liked, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, my God. Never seen anything like that.
He just really liked him and went on and on about it. It was just like, wow.
You don't have to explain why you like something. Like, we all like something. Once you explain physically what it is, like, right, we understand the rest.
Yeah, we got you.
We get it, man.
What is the story that proves you're just like your stereotype? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Tyler. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hola.
Hey. So, I got long red hair. Some of my friends call me Dave Mustaine. So, in addition to the drinking, what proves my stereotype is that I get sunburnt walking into Walmart from the parking lot.
Now, is this a stereotype, or is this one of these scientific things just based on how you're put together, essentially? Because every redhead I know is like, look, I like the sun if I'm looking out a window. I don't like the sun if I'm in it.
Well, I couldn't say for sure, but I will say that my life forever changed when that damn South Park episode came out in like 2008.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. Sadly, I know the one. By the way,
all right, guys,
why don't you tell people to call you Cliff Burton instead of Dave Mustaine?
Right. What if we said, hey, you just won a week trip to Hawaii?
Oh, man.
Or Cabo.
Well, you know, that streaker in the Super Bowl, you know, he made all his money investing, I guess, in his own bet. I would probably put all my money in sunscreen and then fly to Hawaii.
Do you have to put out, like, you one of those dudes that looks like a mayonnaise sandwich if you go to the beach? If you're going to be in the sun for an extended period of time?
Absolutely.
What if your job transferred you to Phoenix, Arizona, and you got 3 times as much money?
Oh, man. No comment.
You got to think about that.
I'm serious. Like, because if you're going to be miserable all the time, is it worth it?
Yeah, but there's one thing to be miserable, like, boy, it's awfully cold in Chicago.
I don't want a house with a pool.
But it's another thing where, like, this damage happens to you.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, I can bitch about the weather, but, like, the sun does not kill me. I'm not getting like, if you're a redhead, right, the sun is just a much different enemy. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it's everywhere you go, all over planet Earth.
Yeah. What's the story that proves you're just like your stereotype? 206-421-ROCK.
For the guy that called in before, the Mexican guy was like, hey, I like big white women. Someone says, yeah, that guy likes what we call flour tortillas, white and round.
Flour tortillas.
That's a new one for
I have not heard that.
Hello, Candy. Welcome to the men's room.
Oh, man.
Hola.
Hola.
Yes, I am the typical Pacific Northwest Pemco blue tarp camper.
Oh, you are?
Right. Oh, so you just like the TV commercial.
Okay. How often do you go?
Yes. Oh, I go every summer, and it seems like I've never prepared. We have to whip out the tarp when we get flooded or something. So, yes, I fit that stereotype.
How long does it take you to set up camp? Because I know the people that are experienced setting up camp, it's not that they couldn't do it fast, but they're very meticulous about how they do it because they understand all the things that may or may not go wrong. Where my ass, I'm like, I got my tent up, and then I have a miserable time.
It takes me about an hour and a half to get everything set up, but it just never seems to go quite right.
Okay. Do you live by yourself, or do you live with somebody else?
No, I live with somebody else.
Okay.
My daughters.
All right. What kind of car do you drive? Do you drive like a Forester?
No, it's a Buick LaCrosse.
Oh, those are
wow.
nice, man.
Okay.
Right. Those are, and do you basically camp where you're, 20 feet from your car, or do you do a little bit of hiking involved, or what?
little bit of hiking involved. We like to go to Ohanapekosh up on the mountain. So there's we do the uncultured area though, where it's just raw. No bathrooms except if we sneak up to Ohanapekosh, where they have bathrooms.
You have a bathroom everywhere. It's just called behind the tree. You know, if you say a Buick LaCrosse, I would not also think avid camper.
I wouldn't either.
Right? You know what I mean? If you say I got a Buick LaCrosse, oh, you don't camp.
Seems like a lot of the guys that are parked on trails where you go hiking, a lot of guys have the all-wheel drive Subarus.
Sure.
Because they're all-wheel drive. You know, those cars that can go anywhere in the snow and everything else. It just seems like that is the typical car at the REI parking lot.
REI, or if you go like what people, what is it, Lake 22
where it's
or
not
whatever.
the same one at the Big Bass Pro Shop.
No, it's two different, but it's two different things, right? Like, I'm going fishing, he's going camping, but we have different motivations for why we're doing it.
Right.
Like, I'm just here to drink Jack Daniels, but I'm not going to do any drugs. And then there's certain cars are like, these guys are here they're going to drink Jack Daniels as well, but the drugs are the thing.
Oh, and typically, the one thing that separates people from what they do in their outdoor activities, if they're in the woods or whatever, is gasoline. What do you mean? Really, well, it changes the type of person involved in the activity. So, for an example, when I lived in Annapolis, they used to do one of the biggest sailboat shows in North America.
And by the way, everyone that went to those sailboat shows looks exactly the way you think you would look at a sailboat show.
So, and we would get off after work at the radio station, and there was a bar downstairs. We go down to the bar.
You get a bar downstairs from the station?
There were 5 bars. I mean, it's downtown Annapolis.
I would have been fired years ago.
You know how that rolls. I mean, it was just, you pick the bar. But when the sailboat show was in, and we knew the bartenders, and we knew the waiters, and we knew the waitresses, and they hated it. And the reason they hated it was because the sailboat crew, they were a group that would come in, and they were frugal. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't tip. They would always ask about prices. They would always look at their bill. They would always question items on the bill.
Right.
They weren't very good tippers, and they were very just, in general, just kind of distant, right?
Sure.
Next week, it's power boats.
Different crowd.
Now, this crew is throwing down bills. They are snorting coke. They are leaving huge tips. They are partying. They are having a good time. And the same could be said about people who go out in the woods. Now, Mike Hawk, great example, right? When you go out in the woods, okay, some people might go for a hike or go and take pictures and do a nature walk. You pull out the gas can, stick it in the back of a four-wheeler. People in West Virginia, they do one of two things. Get on a four-wheeler, or they're sneaking up there to hunt, to hike, to whatever. So there's the powerboat people who are just, anytime you put gas in something, it's the jet ski dude.
Right, there's more adrenaline.
It's just bro city, right? Compared to the guy who puts a kayak in or a canoe. It's the guy on the jet ski, he's blowing by you trying to, flood your canoe.
Well, the guy in the kayak takes pictures of geese. The guy in the powerboat's like, let's see if we can hit them before they take off.
Right.
And done it.
So
that's why I like powerboat people.
Yeah. So gas people are much different recreationally than people who do not need gas. You know what I'm saying?
I thought one of the more interesting things, we talked to Joe at Elysian Fields. They produce our beer. And so Elysian Fields is across from the stadiums downtown. And in the summer, back in the good old days when they did things like have concerts and people could get together, depending on the concert and sometimes depending on the visiting team for the Seahawks, he said, we adjust what we have to buy. Because this place gets mobbed because of location, and it's a big-ass place. You can fit, 900 people in there. Who the hell knows? But he said, look, Kenny Chesney's coming into town. So I'm putting in my orders now. And when Kenny Chesney comes into town, he's like, it doesn't matter that we're Elysian. We need Coors Light, because they are not here to try craft beer. They're here to drink Coors Light and rum. You need more. He said, man, when a country show comes in, we said, what about Metallica? He's like, Jack Daniels. The beers are fine. He's like, rock people drink whiskey. A few country people drink whiskey, but rum is the thing, because they party a little different than the rock crowd. And he said, if the Raiders come to town, his beer order's different than any other visit. He's like, any other visiting team, you just order what you order, and we got what we got. I can't remember the beer, but there was a real specific, that we've all heard of. But he's like, listen, we just realized when Raiders fans are in town, and it doesn't matter if they're from L.A., doesn't matter if they're from Oakland, presumably it will not matter if they're from Vegas, we need this beer because that is the only freaking thing they drink. But it's just crazy. It's like, yeah, you get to learn a lot about people and the groups of people that do certain things.
Right.
He's like, man, and there's no mistake. But I believe it was Kenny Chesney was coming into town that particular weekend. He's like, I have more rum than I know what to do with, and we won't have a drop left.
Dude, I have a friend of a friend that does security at the Coachella Valley. And he's like, Coachella Festival, he's like, it's fine. People don't like psychedelics and smoking weed. They're drinking still.
Right, but they're chill.
He's like, but they have that stagecoach thing, which is all country, and he's like, There's people drinking hard. There's a lot of fighting.
Yeah. What is the story that proves that you are just like your stereotype? We'll take a break, come back with your emails to the men's room at KISW.com next.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.